staying focused is really important to kind of meet those goals. And working out what those goals are for you on like a personal level. Is that like an exit of £5 million? Is that just having like a business that almost runs itself and you get 15 grand a month, whatever it is.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and the wisdom of how they sold their first million.
How would you like to achieve your first million? And today we have Rupert with us, which is the founder of a filmmaking company. So Rupert, we have the first question for you. What are the 5 steps to make your first million?
Sure. I mean, a lot goes into it. Obviously, I think it's a very complicated and difficult thing, and it really depends on the industry and the approach you want to take. But the first one is focusing on providing real value. I think that's really important. I think that there's a lot of like, if you're really hyped and excited about making money and that's what you want to do, you can almost become too focused on that thing and not like what value are you going to provide to customers, what problem are you going to solve in the world, all that kind of thing. And I think particularly with younger people, that could be an issue. 2 is like starting small, but get started. I think that the biggest problem, I think, when it comes to like business failure is effectively people just not starting. Like young people that I've spoken to or that I've helped, they find it really difficult to just get moving, but like doing like a really small version of what you want to do in a really simplistic way is enough to just get started. And in video production, which is what I'm in, that would be like starting to build a portfolio or just making stuff every week or whatever. But I think that getting started, starting small, not over obsessing with like a product you're going to take to market and trying to spend loads of money or raise money or whatever, just get moving as quickly as you can. I think just keeping going. I think that, I don't really have any magic formulas, but I think that like business, can be pretty relentless. It can be pretty stressful. It can push you back a lot. And I think that a lot of issues you might even have in yourself or difficulties you might personally have will end up like manifesting themselves in the challenges in front of you. But we don't really hear that often about all the difficult times businesses had before they, got to the success that they are sort of today. And often we sort of view successes as just like overnight, that they've just happened. So keeping going is a big one. I think setting yourself clear goals once you're sort of moving is really important, because like when you first start, you're the accountant, you're the marketer, you're the salesperson, you're everything. And that's a really, really challenging phase where you have to be like a real generalist. But a lot of entrepreneurs, I think, really like that phase because it's really exciting. You're learning new things all the time, all that kind of thing. And then as you start to scale, you have to kind of become a bit more specialized and work out what you're actually good at and what value you provide to the business. And I think setting yourself clear goals can really help that side of things, help keep you focused. And then I think that, and kind of work out what value you need to add to the business. And then finally, that sort of leads me on to like not getting distracted. I think that once you've started to build a business that's showing real promise, you've got to remember that it's still very vulnerable, in its earlier phases, well beyond like $1 million revenue, your business is still vulnerable, or can be, depending on
absolutely
the type of business. I come obviously from a video production agency background, and it's very people orientated. Tech businesses, maybe they run themselves a little bit better than people-based businesses, but I think not getting distracted at the wrong moment. If you're a passionate entrepreneur, you've got a lot of ideas. The odds are once you get moving, you start to hit some roadblocks, you're going to start going, oh, this thing over here looks quite shiny and quite nice. Maybe I'll have a go at that. So I think that staying focused is really important to kind of meet those goals, and working out what those goals are for you on like a personal level. Is that like an exit of £5 million? Is that just having like a business that almost runs itself and you get 15 grand a month? Whatever it is, from a financial point of view, setting those goals and then focusing on it and not getting distracted.
And tell us, why do you decide to become an entrepreneur? What happened? Do you have any entrepreneur in your family or friends? So how you decide to become an entrepreneur?
No, so I don't really have any, like my parents, like my mum started a business or bought a business at the same time as I started my production company. But my dad's a police officer, although he's very entrepreneurial and very intelligent. He's a police officer and not really in that sort of industry. My mum's in like the property space, but she sort of started from quite humble beginnings as like an inventory clerk. So she would just check people out of properties and then went on to buy the business that she was working for.
Wow.
But for me, I was just always really fascinated. Like my parents had like a difficult period of time financially when I was younger, where they were doing quite well, and then there was an economic crash, and they kind of got had problems as a result of that, financial problems. And I saw the impact it had on my parents at quite a young age, and I just thought, like, I don't want to ever, like, I want to kind of help them, and I don't want to ever have to like deal with this. So I started to get a bit obsessed with like businesses and making money. And I used to import stuff from China. I used to sell popcorn on the playground. I used to pick herbs and sell them, which sounds very problematic, but it was just mint, in the village, and all these sorts of things. And then I started a business with my mum, renting out Nerf guns for kids' parties, which was a fun kind of venture. And I started to make videos to promote that on YouTube. Some of those videos started to go viral. And then I was like, oh, the
Wow.
video production thing's really cool. I love this. So that's how I got into video production. And then I kind of pivoted. So I've always, like, growing up, done lots of different little businesses, some of which were total disasters, like trying to start my own makeup brand. Some of them were like selling ebooks and guides online, and those did really well, like teaching people how to fix the red ring of death on their Xbox back in the day. So yeah, that's kind of my background. I was always quite entrepreneurial and quite interested in making money and building things.
From what was your source? From where were you learning? You become interested to become an entrepreneur, and but any book, any internet information, what was your source?
I think they're like, it was mostly just the internet. It was mostly, and like, I'm very practical as a person. Like, I like just like doing things and like trying things. So a lot of the stuff in my early years, I didn't read any entrepreneurial books. I maybe got about 10 pages into like Alan Sugar's biography that got published. But, other than that, it wasn't much more than that. But that, I would kind of be like wanting to start businesses and just would be trying to problem solve specific issues. But in the early days, it was mostly like just trying, like
Yeah.
doing loads of different things, seeing what worked. And then only now do I make more of an effort to read specific things or learn specific things. I think there's some great business books out there, Built to Sell by John Warrillow, Good to Great, Jim Collins, Netflix, No Rules Rules, Traction, I really rate. So there's definitely some great business books out there, but like, that's only now that I've scaled a bigger business that I'm kind of like problem solving for specific things and trying to like elevate the business beyond just maybe like intuition or things that I've experienced before.
So here we always share with the entrepreneurs that to become an entrepreneur is a skill. It's a skill base. So the more you practice, the better you become. The trial and error is a process that every entrepreneur need to have, because at the end of the day you have to develop the skill. I don't think that if people learn how to swim or drive, they will never learn by reading a book. At the end of the day, you have to swim into the pool, and you have to to learn how to swim or to drive, the same thing. Some people now drive and they even speak on the phone, but it's because they have such a skill that now they can do it. But at the beginning, they were trying. So to be an entrepreneur, at the end of the day, it's a trial and error, and you have to practice until you develop the skill. There is a lot of skills, and maybe like you share with us, Robert, you have these different these different small businesses at the beginning, but maybe until you find your passion, something very productive that all these ventures did for you is to help you to develop the skill as an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And like, I almost think that like you don't want to succeed too quickly as well. Like, if you just have a business that suddenly just takes off, that's amazing and that's super exciting. But equally, like, you're now running a business with very little experience, at a certain scale. So like for me, I'm quite like grateful that I kind of stuck it out for like 10 years or whatever of just like messing about with different things. Because now, like, we'll come into a difficult
Skill, yeah.
situation or a difficult moment, and I can kind of go back through, I've been running Perspective for 8 years. So it's like, it's quite unusual for me to face like a brand new problem. It's like we've, gone through very, very difficult cash flow periods. We've gone through difficult staff periods. We've gone through moments where our product isn't good enough. We've gone through, like all the things that are like little disasters or whatever. Now, when something pops up and there's a fire or whatever it is, I can kind of like go back to those experiences and be like, oh, it's going to be fine. Like we did this and this before. This time, maybe we'll do this, that, and that, and we'll turn it around. So yeah, I completely agree. I think that skill set and practice as an entrepreneur is invaluable, both for the practicality, but also just confidence. I think that, it can be quite a drain on your ego running a business, and you need to be confident and be able to lead it. And I think that's really important.
Some people say that an image is better than 1,000 words, and I will say that a good video is better than 1,000,000 words. So how this journey starting about the video production, you already covered a little bit, because one thing is to do a video, the other thing is to do a high quality video for companies like you share with us before the broadcasting that you have produced from Red Bull and from another big companies also. So what is the difference between a video, a good video, and an amazing video?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question. I think my background was like, I ran that Nerf gun business, or Nerf blaster business, renting out gun, these blasters for kids' parties. Then like made videos to promote it, got really into that, decided I wanted to be a filmmaker, made a World War One, like a load of films, and was making video content all the time. And then I made like a short film that I took to Cannes Film Festival, thinking like I'm going to be a big shot Hollywood director, age like 20 or whatever I was. Went to Cannes, didn't like it, didn't like the environment, wasn't what I thought it would be, didn't think it was for me. Then I made a documentary where I longboarded or skateboarded across America from LA to New York. So I skateboarded 3,000 miles with a support crew. We made a documentary, which we sold to Netflix a few years ago. And that's still up on Netflix. You can type in longboarding LA to NY.
Wow, what's the name?
Longboarding LA to NY.
Wow. So you are the person skating, or you're the person filming?
Both.
Oh my God. You took a crew with you, or how you managed to do that?
Yeah, we had a crew of like 4 people. So like basically like 4 British guys flew out, and then we had 3 Americans that like ran a support van, and then we just like sleep on the floor of the van at night and then skate during the day.
Wow, that's amazing. And then you now here's the thing, how, because Netflix in particular, they are very demanding with the quality that they, if I'm aware, if you don't produce a certain quality, they won't even take it. So how you guys knew how to record all this in high quality?
I think it was like, technically, I don't think the film is where it needs to or should be, really. Like at age 20, like I think that the filming is quite messy. It's shot on like a 4K camera, but it's like, we were still learning. But I think that it was a very authentic documentary. And so I think that we got a lot of free passes in that respect. Like it's very much like 2 of the guys gave up in the first 4 days of the 4 of us. Like it was brutal. Like on the second day, one of the support guys was skating with his shirt off, and he came off at like 30 miles an hour and like scraped all his body open and was covered in blood. And one of the board got hit by a bus and got destroyed. So it's like, it's just very real. It's like very, it was legitimately dangerous what we did. So I think it holds its own in that respect. I mean, it's a real adventure.
But the quality definitely was there.
So it was there enough. Do you know what I mean? If I could redo it now, I'd absolutely make it a lot more beautiful. But yeah, it was enough. And I think it's more about the editing and the narrative and, how we kind of pieced it together.
Follow us for more interviews with the world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.